Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Tuesday night edition episode of That Day of Baseball. So it creeps up on you every Tuesday live with Nick and Adam. We've got Manny Machado talk. We've got Matt Chapman talk. We've got Kodai Senga, Shohei Otani. We've got a lot to get into. Before we do, I got to check in with the boys. How are you guys on this fine Tuesday evening?
Doing very good, man. I was not present last week. Thank you both for holding down the fort. I got to do a little bit of rewatchability of y'all after the fact. Good conversations, guys. Good convos. And I had a little bit of FOMO, so I'm excited to be here tonight. Get to talk some ball with y'all.
Yeah, it's good to be back, Jimmy. Of course, we're getting so close to spring training. We're talking about this week is the first weekend of spring training baseball for the Toronto Blue Jays and for the MLB. So can't wait to dive in and see how the players are doing. But we got 1 week left of some amazing and dreaded rumors for some people. Sure. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get right into it. For anybody that is like, come on, get on the content. Enough with the pleasantries. Let's go. Yeah. I hear you. Let's go. So right off the bat, let's start with Manny Machado. Manny Machado, here's the situation. We know his contract at the end of this season. He can opt out. He's going to opt out. Makes sense for him to opt out. There's at least $100 million on the table for him to do it, but he wants even more than that. So the Padres offered Manny Machado a 5-year, $105 million extension this week, last week, recently. The days and weeks are kind of merging together. It's already Tuesday, so it's probably last week. The contract would begin in 2029, keeping his original 10-year deal in place. Machado countered with a 10-year, $400 million extension that would begin in 2024, opting out of his original contract after this season. I'm going to throw it to you guys. I want you to answer this for me. I'm going to mull it over because I think I have an answer, but I want yours first. Is Manny Machado worth throwing, starting 2024, $400 million, 10 years at him? He's going to certainly be maybe the best free agent or one of the best free agents, obviously Ohtani next year, but he's going to be one of the best free agents available next year. There could be a bidding war. This would preclude that maybe, but is Manny Machado worth 10 for 400? What do you guys think?
No. Look, I like Manny Machado. I mean, he's been amazing. His career is incredible. He's still at a good age, too, to get paid some decent dollars.
Yeah.
$400 million worth. I mean, look, I get it. Inflation, contracts are going up every year, too. It's just, this guy's making that much. Well, I should make a little bit more, but come on, Manny, $400 million. I think this is more of a play to say, hey, look, this is what it will take for me not to test the free agency market, because I think he's going to get paid quite a lot in free agency. And I do think there's going to be a team that when he goes and tests it is going to challenge that number or try to get close in terms of the dollars and the years. But I think this would be a guarantee, like, all right, yeah, for sure, I won't be a free agent. This is what it would take for me.
Man, I really don't understand, like, where the disconnect is or where that kind of transition happened with these players. Was it this offseason where everybody's head got incredibly big and they just thought that, holy shit, holy crap, Steve Cohen is now in this league and I can get paid. Literally, I can write my own check. It's a blank check and I can write whatever I want on it.
Right.
Where did this mentality begin? Seriously, there's a big conversation that happens in NFL, in football all the time with big quarterbacks asking for crazy millions of dollars saying, hey, you don't want to win a ring. You just want to get paid. Take a team-friendly deal. That conversation does not happen in baseball right now. Manny Machado on a World Series contending team right now is asking for 10 years, $400 million. Why are we not having that conversation and saying that this is absolutely absurd? Because it is. I'm not saying that the 5 years, $105 million was necessarily what he deserves. Like, I think that that's closer in the realm of outcomes. I think that is closer. I'm not saying that's what he should have accepted. But 10 years for $400 million, being the age of 30, going to be 31 years old when this deal would come into effect, that is absolute insanity.
Yeah, I do want to encourage everybody that has not yet to please subscribe and hit that like if you have not yet. I would love for both of our channels to get as close to 50 likes here right off the bat as quickly as you can. So if you have not used your like yet, please hit that thumbs up right now. I will say this about Manny Machado. I think that the Padres' initial offer, that 5 for 120. What was it? 5 for 105. 5 for 105 is a low ball offer, right? You're talking 21 million AAV. That's not going to get it done in today's market. He's worth more than that. But 10 for 400 is going way over extreme levels. That is basically saying you got to pay me what I think Steve Cohen is going to pay me if you want me to stay in San Diego. And I don't think San Diego is going to do that. I do think that Manny is worth taking roughly a 30 AAV for those 5 years. So give me 5 at 30 a year. I can't do this 5 at 21. That's not enough. So I need to be at 5 at 150 to get that deal done. And again, that picks up after his current contract ends. So he would lock in and he would remain for 5 more years and get another 30 AAV. That's what sounds right to me financially. But listen, I mean, if you know you got Steve Cohen hanging out there, you know that you can at least play that card, especially if the Mets are already making noise. It's almost tampering. It's almost a little bit of tampering. The Mets are making it obvious that they will be interested in Machado. You have to think that San Diego's going to try to do something, and they got to up that 5 for 105. They got to get that. I mean, realistically, to have a real conversation, I think we got to go 5 for 150. I would love for you, those of you that are live, those of you watching the replay, comment and let us know what you would pay Manny Machado.
I don't want to derail the conversation too much here, boys, and I do want to move on at some point and talk about our other third baseman who's talking about potential extensions. But what is absolute insanity, and this just goes to speak about the market and where it has moved, where it has transitioned, is if you would have asked, I think both Adam and I, a year ago, 2 years ago, if we would have paid Vladimir Guerrero Jr. that money, even we would have been like, holy crap, that's a lot. Like, I'm kind of skeptical about this. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is, 23, 24 years old right now, entering the prime of his career, right? It's like, I'd still be skeptical to give this guy $400 million. You look at the deal that Rafael Devers just had, right? It's like, is the next 10 years of Rafael Devers going to be better than Manny Machado? I would argue probably yes. I can't say that for sure, but I would argue probably yes. It feels that this offseason, these older vets, they realized that they can get the bag, and they are going to use that resume to push that narrative forward.
Ratchet Dawn on my channel with a good point here. Listen, Padres could probably put Bogarts at third, Tatis at short, and extend Soto. That is something that the Padres will have to discuss internally. They have come out and said that Manny Machado is their top priority right now, but you have to think they've already said that they're going to go for Ohtani. You have to think a Juan Soto extension is in play. So to just empty the tank on Manny Machado, obviously that's not part of the plan. We know it. The 5 for 105 is we're gonna offer you 5 for 105 because we want to back up the truck for Ohtani. We want to back up the truck to extend Soto. Soto is younger than Machado. Save that money for Juan Soto.
Agreed.
Let's get to that third baseman that you were hinting at. Let's talk some Blue Jays and Matt Chapman, looming free agent Matt Chapman, that I have gone on record now and given 4 reasons why I believe the Blue Jays should not extend Matt Chapman. Anybody wants to check that out? I do have that video. It is my most recent upload from last night. I believe dealing with Scott Boras is going to be a problem. This is a max. This is the most money Matt Chapman would ever make in a contract in his career. Are the Blue Jays going to go and give him that and prevent free agency? I'm worried about, not worried, but I've kind of sold myself on let's go get that Matt Chapman walk year production. How many times do we see a player come up with a career year or a near career year right before free agency? And my final one, my fourth reason why, I kind of like the kids that are coming up. I might want to see what they've got. You guys go. Talk to me.
Well, okay. First things first, just to give everybody kind of the insight as to what has probed this conversation to even begin with, is Matt Chapman came out on record talking about his future, talking about the Blue Jays, and effectively said that he likes it a lot here. He thinks that the Blue Jays management like him a lot, which they have come out many a time in interviews and made that very, very clear. And he said, look, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm going to have a good year. I'm going to play baseball. I would like, I'm happy here. I would be definitely cool with staying here. But at the end of the day, I got to play baseball. So that's kind of why we're having this conversation. It sounds like he would absolutely be open to an extension in Toronto if possible. But it doesn't look like those conversations have necessarily materialized yet.
See, I internalized what he said in that media interview. I internalized that as, I think he's just trying to please all the sides. Like, he's not going extreme, like Manny Machado saying, yeah, I'm actually going to leave at the end of this year and try to make more money, which in the Blue Jays market, if Matt Chapman said that, I think it would give a sour taste with Blue Jay fans, with the teammates, of course, right? Which is kind of wild that Manny Machado is just openly talking about it in the first place. But anyways, back to Matt Chapman. He's saying that just because he wants to please all the free agent teams, all the Blue Jay fans. But I think it's the same situation with Manny Machado. Unless the Blue Jays are willing to cough up money that would be the ceilings of what Matt Chapman's going to get in free agency, Scott Boras will not allow him to not hit free agency come this offseason.
Yeah, of course, man. Like, I don't really see a reality where we get a deal done with Matt Chapman. I just don't think it's possible because it's one of those scenarios, right, where it's like, well, if he's not playing well, then sure, you could probably afford him, but why would you want to? And if he is playing really well, of course, you'd want to have him on the team for, 5, 6, 7 years after that. But there's no way that he's going to take that deal when he could go to free agency. And the only guy standing, the only other dude who's even close to his caliber of play is Manny Machado, right? So it's like he's going to be a very solid second place prize for any team that's looking for somebody at the corner, which, I mean, a lot of teams are absolutely going to be looking for, especially if he is coming off of a good year. So I love Matt Chapman. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great clubhouse mentor. And I think that defensively speaking, he's obviously one of the best in the games. I just do not see a reality, though, where we are going to get a deal done at least before, the end of the season.
I can't see it happening either. I will be shocked. I'll be, depending on the years and the dollars, I'd say I'll be happy. But I do think that I think this is a long shot. You have go back to the Mets. This is just where we're at right now, and this is where we're going to be at for a while. Yeah. You have let's say Manny Machado does get a deal done to stay in San Diego. Well, then Matt Chapman all of a sudden is the best third baseman available, and the Mets can get out of that Eduardo Escobar contract. I believe they have the club option at the end of this upcoming season, so they can get out of that. We'll see what Brett Beatty can do. We'll see what Vientos can do. Vientos was taking grounders at first today or yesterday. But you could be looking at a situation where Matt Chapman, if Ohtani makes it clear he's going to stay on the West Coast, if Machado re-signs with San Diego, then the Mets could be looking at Matt Chapman. And Scott Boras is not going to take that opportunity away from his client to go get the most money he's ever going to get on a contract. And I don't see this Blue Jays front office, especially after we saw how they just operated through this most recent offseason, going out there and saying, what do you want? Yes, we will do whatever it takes to prevent you becoming a free agent at the end of the season. I can't see this front office doing that. I think they would talk and maybe Ross and Mark would try to get a deal done, but there is no deal that the Blue Jays will be able to have out of this. It is going to be the Scott Boras show. He's going to do his thing. He's going to get his client paid. And that probably means he's not a Blue Jay. But I think that's going to be okay. Yeah. Again, the walk year production, we see it time and time again, where he's going to go out there and try to have his best defensive season. He's going to go out there and try to have his best offensive season. He's going to be locked in. He's going to be focused because he wants to get the most. He wants to get 20, 25 million a year next year. He doesn't want to get 15 to 20. He wants 20 to 25. We're going to see, we got Addison Barger. I mean, dude's got a great arm. Can he play third? Can Bo play short? Or Elvis Martinez, if he starts swinging and missing less at the minor league level, Martinez could play third base. So, and then behind him, maybe a year later, Kate Dowdy. So it's not like if the Blue Jays don't get Chapman back, that it's over.
Right.
There are plenty of good reasons why I believe it's okay if they do not get a deal done.
I mean, you just to cap off that thought, if you're thinking about Elvis Martinez, look, Elvis Martinez, player type, he looks like he's got power like Matt Chapman, if not more power than Matt Chapman. But if he just swings and misses just a little bit less and hits for a higher batting average, just a slightly higher batting average, you could kind of just replace him. Now, the glove I can't comment on. We have no idea.
We don't.
If you're talking just pure offensive like replacement, then there you go. Yeah, you're going to take a step back, but that's what you have to do in this world of baseball and sports. You have to allow some of these players to go get paid, spend your money on the core pieces, maybe some other free agent pickups throughout the offseason, and allow your farm system to do its work and your scouts to do their work.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in here and kind of take just a little bit. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of pushback here because I think that I like Barger. I like Orelvis. I kind of like Orelvis Martinez. But I do think that we're getting a little bit of like rose-colored glasses right here, optimism, looking for the ceiling potential. When we are talking here, folks, about one of the best defensive players of the last 5 years, you know, and also too, like not bad with the bat at all, like definitely productive. I think that it would be absolutely ignorant for us to assume that there's not going to be not only just a drop-off, but I feel like there will be a pretty significant drop-off at third base next season if they don't get Matt Chapman, assuming that there's not some sort of outside influence like a trade that I'm not seeing right now or some other free agent that I'm just not aware of.
No, that's a very fair take. And I think that you have to weigh out what's more important. Matt Chapman is probably, I would bet, a 4 or 5 year deal. So you're starting age 1 of that new contract is age 31 season. You're buying 1 or maybe 2 more peak seasons, and then the rest of that contract is skills diminishing ages. So that's what you just got to weigh out. Do you want that? Would you be willing to pay for those years that you're going to see the skills diminish? That is what the majority of that contract will be. I will throw this out there because when I was putting my Matt Chapman project together yesterday, I started thinking about, well, what could they do? Because again, third base market is outside of Manny Machado, which I don't think the Blue Jays have a real shot at. It's kind of light, right? Eduardo Escobar could become a free agent if the Mets don't pick up an option. I did kind of get really interested about a potential trade with the Rockies. I got really excited about a potential Rockies trade with Ryan McMahon.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Chris Bryant.
No, not Chris Bryant, because I think Chris Bryant wants to play the outfield. I got really into a Ryan McMahon situation because Ryan McMahon's a couple years younger than Matt Chapman. Ryan McMahon was a Gold Glove nominee at third base this year. If the Rockies are going absolutely nowhere, if they bomb this year, then Colorado may start entertaining the option of making some trades. And if Toronto can put together something, I don't know. I don't know what that trade would be.
I'll throw a little wrench in your thought. When have we ever seen the Colorado Rockies actually start to trade away pieces?
Raimel Tapia, baby.
I guess you're right. But edge piece, I guess McMahon, like if you consider him part of the core, right? Like he's a pretty good player there. Like edge players they're willing to trim off, but they still think that core's got something to it. You know,
well, you wonder if they would value somebody like an Orelvis Martinez. You wind the clock back on years, extreme power potential. You put that bat in Coors Field. Is he a 40 homer guy there?
Oh God, yeah. Probably.
That is where you start to wonder because they're getting to German Marquez. Remember the trade rumors for German Marquez, and they were going to do it because now we're down to a point where that contract, you can see the end of that thing. So anyway, I do think that there's a very interesting, tasty trade bit there, but it's a long shot. Nobody said anything about that. But when I was perusing potential trade or potential options after Matt Chapman, that was one that popped up on my screen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I do want to move on here, gents, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Blue Jays in conversations like that, especially in the offseason. I just think it's a hard pill to swallow for a manager to go from a potential platinum glove winner and a 30 home run guy to a rookie at the hot corner when we're prioritizing defense. You know, that's all I'm going to put out there. That's definitely a hard pill to swallow. But.
Very fair point. Let's get on to our next top item, and it is Kodai Senga. And I want to throw this out there. We have seen a relatively positive, a glowing story on Kodai Senga this spring training, and we have also seen the polar opposite of that. We have seen something that, quite frankly, is concerning for Kodai Senga. So it's a matter of how are you feeling? Here's the situation for those that have not seen. Kodai Senga last week had his first bullpen side session, in front of the coaching set. We've all seen him now, right? They've got the camera behind him. The coaches are watching. He had his first session last week, and he did not feel good. Said it was so-so. The ball, the major league ball, is larger than the ball he was playing with overseas, and the mound is steeper. And he didn't say the ball was a problem, but he said the mound was going to take some getting used to. And there's even a clip of him. I don't know why. I can't remember who put it up there. Might have been SNY, with him throwing a pitch, and he looks down at the mound. He kind of kicks at it. Looks like it's uncomfortable to him. But then he goes out over the weekend and has a live BP session against Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, I think maybe Jeff McNeil or Brandon Nimmo, one of those, and things felt good. He says he felt good. I think he strikes Pete Alonso out. So are you concerned at all about the potential, if you're a Mets fan, for this situation where you got a guy coming in talking about the mound is steeper, the ball, his whole thing is that ghost fork, right?
Yeah.
How is that going to play out over this season with a larger baseball? What does that mean when the ball's larger? You can't get the same kind of grip you were getting on a smaller baseball. Maybe not able to manipulate it as much. Are you at all concerned, or is this just spring training buzz?
I think it's just spring training buzz. I mean, you've seen players come overseas all the time, and they've made adjustments over time, not right away, but you see it gradually over time, especially pitchers making these adjustments. And it's going to be an adjustment period. Do I think Senga is going to come out guns blazing this year? I don't think so. I mean, guns blazing, like low 3, high 2, like he's going to be up for a Cy Young Award. I don't think so. I think there's going to be an adjustment period. But am I concerned for him overall? Not at all. There's an adjustment period. The mounds are different, yes, but that's what you got to do to adapt to a major league club. It's all spring training talk. If Wardy was here, I'd tell him, hey, man, there's nothing to worry about. But he probably thinks the same thing, too. There's just nothing to worry about until we see something in a game, an injury occurs. Maybe his body's not used to the way the mound is, a blister on his thumb. Then that's actual physical concern you could probably pinpoint. But right now, it's all speculation. It's okay, Mets fans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as concerned as I would be for any standard Japanese player. And there is always a level of concern that I have because this is a massive adjustment. Not only is there the mound and the baseball, but there's also the fact that you're in a strange country and nobody here speaks your language. It's like, this is difficult. There's human elements here that are actually really tough to manipulate. Is your family here? Is your parents here? Did they come with you? I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff that is obviously very concerning and can affect people in different ways. Kodai Senga, I'll tell you this right now. He is an exceptional baseball player. He has all the skills in his toolbox to overcome these minor adjustments. I'm hoping for the sake of the Mets that he does, because he could be a very exciting dude.
As long as Kodai Senga remains towards the mid to back half of that rotation, I don't think there's too many reasons to be concerned. You're riding this year. You're going to the World Series, Mets fans, as long as Verlander and Scherzer can take you. You're not going to the World Series on Kodai Senga's arm. That's extra. That's a bonus at that point if he's able to pitch lights out. The fact that he's sort of in that 3 or 4 spot, you're looking at a guy that, okay, I mean, sure, he might struggle. He might get roughed up. He may pitch to an ERA in the high 3s, low 4s. And I think that would be, again, as long as Verlander and Scherzer are out there and they're Cy Young candidates, it's not going to hurt as much. So I do think that it's something that you'll have to kind of track and watch. I don't love it, but I'm not a Mets fan. I'm not worried about it. But I do think that there are some Mets fans that do go like worst case scenario. We're at the drop of a hat. And this might have been one of those things that sent some Mets fans over the edge. But I think for the most part, maybe 5% concern level at this point. And we'll just kind of track it as it goes. We got to see him pitch a game. Got to see how that goes. We are hoping to get Wardy in here. He is recording his podcast with the Believe Network right now over on his channel. And if he gets done, he is going to hop in and we'll ask him his take on that. If he goes long on that, then he won't hop in, and we'll have to check with him at another time. We have more to talk about here, and we have a couple more items. What do we go to? Let's go to the Thea Suzuki, Shohei Otani situation, because this one is kind of interesting, and there's even more information that has come out today about that, where Team Japan, Thea Suzuki, is going to be recruiting Shohei Otani to come to the Chicago Cubs. So this is my question. Do the Cubs have a shot in hell at Shohei Otani? You guys go.
See, my first thought when I read the article and I saw the comment by Thea Suzuki was, no way. What the hell? Not the Cubs. But then I remembered the Cubs, they got Dansby Swanson. That was kind of their big move. But there's still room for another big move. So do they have the money to make it happen? Potentially. Do I think they're going to be one of the major players? Probably not. Obviously, you still got the Dodgers, the Padres, the Mets. Those are the big major players that are going to be in on a Shohei Otani. But, I mean, you never know. I'm not going to count them out. Maybe they go and they win the WBC and they're like popping off. And they're popping champagne and Thea Suzuki pulls it Otani. Or I guess he has to pull him down because he's so large. And says, hey, man, we got to do this. We got to run this in Chicago. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, let's do it. This would be amazing. 2 Japanese stars absolutely killing it with the Cubs. But that's a dream scenario. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but it's fun to think about. That's for sure.
I think that they're a solid dark horse. I'll be honest, man. Like, yeah, I'm not going to put them in my top 3, maybe even top 5 favorites to sign Shohei Otani. But at the end of the day, this is a guy who they've probably communicated back and forth, right? I imagine that they do have each other's phone numbers, that they have discussed, when, say, Suzuki was coming over to the major leagues. Hey, Shohei, what should I be looking out for? Give me some advice on this. What do you know? I'm sure that they've had those conversations in the past. I can't speculate on how close that relationship is, but the Cubs are definitely on the upswing, depending on how they do this season, depending on how aggressive that management wants to get. Obviously, Shohei Otani is going to be a phone call that they make, and I wouldn't be surprised, say Suzuki puts in a good word, you never know.
I think that until Otani comes out and just dispels the rumors that he wants to be on the West Coast, I can't think of the Cubs as a serious contender. We know that they want to spend money. That was out over the offseason. That ownership told the front office, spend. Let's get back to those winning ways. We're done with this little restart, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. Go out there. Remember, they were rumored to 2 of the top shortstops. They got Dansby, who ended up being the cheaper of the 4. So you had all of that going on, and Correa re-entering the market, but the Cubs really never got into that. It was always Twins, Mets, Giants. So I think that it is a big-time long shot. But what is interesting today, a few hours ago, Shohei Otani's agent made some remarks about Shohei Otani's future.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Nez, I might be mispronouncing the last name, Nez Balello, said that Shohei Otani has earned the right to hit the open market. Balello said negotiating extension with the Angels is something that he is open to, but there's several layers to this one, and Shohei's earned the right to play through the year, explore free agency, and we'll see where it shakes out. That is from Shohei Otani's agent a few hours ago.
Wow. I mean, to be honest, that is not shocking to me at all, and I think that, that is 100% factual in my opinion. He has definitely earned the right to do that. Yeah. And if I was him, I wouldn't have it any other way, man.
Yep.
So Chicago Cubs, if you're going to offer him $700 million or however much goddamn money this dude is going to get, then yeah, they're going to be in the conversation.
Let's get on to, we have some disappointing news today, or within the last couple of days, where we have some pitches. This is happening. We saw it with Jacob deGrom. We have also seen it with Mike Soroka. We've seen it with Steven Strasburg. Mike Soroka with some setbacks, looking like he is going to be behind schedule by a couple of weeks. But more importantly, you guys tell me, what's the more important situation here? Steven Strasburg, Mike Soroka, the whole thing with DeGrom is they were taking it easy, so I won't go too far with DeGrom yet. But the situation with Steven Strasburg is one where this man's career might be over. Suffered a setback in his return to the mound. He had been recovering from a stress reaction in his second and third ribs that is related to his thoracic outlet syndrome surgery. Built up this offseason to throwing bullpens. Felt good after his first session, but after recently throwing a second session, experienced a nerve issue that sidelined him again. Steven Strasburg.
Jim, it's not a might be over thing. You know, like it is.
It's over.
It's been over, man. And I hate to come out and say this. Like, Steven Strasburg was an extremely exciting player, dude. Like this guy was amazing. But Steven, seriously, man, like you made your money. Like you got to go take care of your body. You got to go take care of your health, because this stuff that you are dealing with right now, the fact that it has been recurring consistently for years now. Like I don't even remember the last time that I saw you make consecutive starts, you know, where it's like you weren't suffering, right?
2019.
This is
the postseason
stuff that is going to last you until you are 65, man. Like you're currently at that point where it's like, do you want to put your body through that? Because you're going to be feeling these effects after baseball. So I do believe that, honestly, man, like this is the end of Steven Strasburg, and it's a sad way to go at.
Yeah, and you know, for a Steven Strasburg perspective, it is completely devastating. But you know, you're talking about what's a worse situation, Soroka or Strasburg. We'll touch on Soroka in just a moment, but in terms of just a team standpoint, when you're losing someone like Strasburg with the current state of the Washington Nationals, I don't think it really matters in terms of just a team performance and like money payroll standpoint. Yeah, you're spending all this money that's kind of going into a guy who's sidelined for the last 4 seasons, but it just really doesn't matter, because even if he's healthy and is playing at his best, there's just nothing there. So in terms of a loss, like what's worse, I would argue Soroka, but we'll talk about that in a moment, because like there's just nothing you could do from the Washington National standpoint.
Good point. No, and William Fulgham in my chat, Soroka will never get back. William is a diehard Braves fan. And that coming from a Braves fan is telling, just because that's sort of the mindset of the fan base. It's just this guy has had setbacks. He keeps getting hurt. Almost feels like Mike Soroka is a younger version of Steven Strasburg. And the Braves kind of needed Mike Soroka this year. And moving forward with the struggles Ian Anderson has had, with Charlie Morton getting older, you know, Soroka was a good pitcher that, as you're trying to build for the future, obviously you'd like to have him there.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, they got extremely, I don't want to say lucky necessarily, because clearly like the management over there and the pitching staff and the scouts and everything like that, they know what they are doing. The development people know what they are doing. But that Spencer Strider breakout was much needed, right? That guy coming out of effectively nowhere. You know, like he is now the new Mike Soroka, because, you know, I remember a few years back, it was Soroka, and it was, oh my gosh, I'm completely blanking on their ace's name right now. Fried. Those were the two young guns that were coming up, and it was like, these are going to anchor our rotation for years to come. Obviously, one of them has hit mightily. The other one was hitting, and now just cannot seem to get on the field. So the fact that they now have Spencer Strider kind of coming in and taking over that, you know, second role is just insanely massive for them. But still, it's really crappy to witness a guy who came up at the major league level, showed so much promise, was effectively, you know, their version of a young Alek Manoah, you know, just came up and was just doing it immediately, doing it, skyrocketing in the pitching standings. And now to fall off. Like, now that holy shit, guys, now that I just said the word Alek Manoah, can you imagine if this happened to Alek Manoah?
Oh yeah, it'd be horrible.
You know, if this is what happened.
This is what's beautiful about the Braves like rotation, though, is like you still, they have some of the youngest, best starting pitchers in the game. Like obviously we know Max Fried, Spencer Strider now, Kyle Wright last year, and then Ian Anderson. I completely forgot about Ian Anderson because he's just so darn good and just pushed way down. But those are 4 young guys that are healthy and are playing right now. And obviously throwing Charlie Morton. But you got to hope that, like, whenever Charlie Morton's time's up in Atlanta, that you could have Mike Soroka come up, because Mike Soroka is still 25 years old. And if he can be added to that rotation, like those 5, that's got to be the best youngest starting pitching in the game, next to Houston Astros, of course.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are, for those of you that are live, you are going to get about 10 minutes of overtime with me, the boys, and our special guest. For those of you that are live, stay put, because this is going to be fun. For those of you watching the replay, this is why you have to join us live, because we are going to be talking with the one and only Tyler from Wardy NYM. You gotta be with us live, and this is why. There's going to be about 10 minutes of overtime for our live viewers. For those of you watching the replay, we do appreciate you coming in and spending some time and supporting our channels. Make sure those of you watching the replay to hit the like on the way out and subscribe. But we are going to bounce for you. And for those of you that are live, hang tight with us for about 3 seconds. We're going to change some things. We're going to be right back with Tyler.